Jesus Christ, did you see the size of that thing? I could eat that for dinner. It's coming back. Oh God. It's gone. Daily. Today is free skate. This will be third one in a row. If I get one in tomorrow, that means that we've broken the previous record of 3. Damn near on a roll. So this one is going to be, if you've watched any of my other after action reports, I'm trying to make a short and a long of any full day or more class. So if a class is one whole day or more, I'm trying to make a short video and a long video because my long videos are long, like 40 minutes plus ish. I mean, there's a lot that happens in 2 days, which is a lot of class I take. This one is John Lovell Pistol 1. Yes, so it's a 1-day class. It's in Summersville, West Virginia, which is where I'm currently now. It's where I'm actually working now. So this is going to be just like quick little things that are like, oh shit, that changes things. First off, before I get into my notes, John's an awesome guy, very easy to talk to, explains things in a way that you can tell he is very educated, very well read, but doesn't speak over your head. He, it seems like, which in the class, there were 2 or 3 of, I'm not really making great big leaps and assumptions here, but us, regular dudes that carry a gun to shoot people in the face if it comes to it. And then I would say a majority of the class were doctors, lawyers, which I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying he can tailor his approach to high school diplomas or MDs and PhDs. Does that make a little bit of sense? He can tailor his approach. He'll explain something one way, and if someone asks a question, he tailors it, and not in like a condescending way, or it just different types of people who've had different types of education receive things different ways. I think it's fair. And it's John Lovell. He's just entertaining. He likes dad jokes, and I'm a pretty damn big fan of dad jokes. I'm going to breeze through these. I'm not going to even hit half the points because I'm already like 4 minutes in. I haven't even really said anything. One thing that wasn't really pushed big in class, but I asked him about it, is like, hey, I feel like I need to address this more. And that's the thing. With this class, I would say it's 75% scripted, maybe even less. Like this thing this way, then this thing this way. And the other 25 or more percent, I would say, is that people would have a question during class, like, what if this, or what about that? And if it wasn't something outlandish and 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of the time that would happen, he would say, well, let's look at it and let's see. Or certain body mechanics, he would tailor fit. So some of the class, it's not, his class won't be a cookie cutter. And I'm not saying others I've been to have. I'm just saying if you have a valid question during class, it will get addressed in length and it will be talked about. And my thing was drawing center line. I wanted to smooth out, since I'm carrying appendix, and when I get lazy or it's been a while since I've had a professional watch me draw, I get a little lazy with this, like clearing the holster in, which is flagging a quarter of my, I mean, it doesn't get that bad, but just smoothing that up, getting it more of a center line press out. Press out. I'm using all the super tactical, awesome feel-good phrases. A big thing in his class was not shooting from reset. So if you know what shooting from reset is, bang, hold the trigger to the rear until you slowly get a click, and then bang, making a shorter, lighter trigger. And he had a tweak on that. A big thing with him is spending your time in a more valuable place. So rather than spending your time easing that trigger out till you get the reset, and then getting back on it, it was bang off the trigger, bang off the trigger, bang off the trigger. And instead of using your time resetting the trigger, use that time getting a smoother trigger pull or press or whatever you want to call it. And I'll try to get deeper in depth in that. I don't know. Another point, choose when seconds count. A lot of John's, I would say, other than being ready to do the things that need doing during the times when they need donest, an overwhelming urge in his class is to be more efficient. That's what I would say a lot of his time is spent doing, and I think he would agree with that, is just make it more efficient. And I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm not saying this, but I would kind of wrap it around this way. If you can make a clean draw, get out and shoot 5 shots in 7 seconds of slow aim fire, or of aimed fire, and certain parts of that were not necessary to the thing, in that same time frame, making 2 things more efficient and getting 3 more shots in addition to your original. I need to sit down and think about how to explain the way it's an efficiency thing. And anybody who's ever spent any time trying to make something more efficient, whether it's something at your job or some hobby you do, if you make something more efficient, you will be better at it, like more quality work, and it will be faster, and it will require less effort from you. Jesus Christ, did you see the size of that thing? I could eat that for dinner. It's coming back. Oh God. It's gone. And one thing that I knew, so in prior training, clear, stop, get your feet moving, which in a class of 50 you can't really get your feet moving. So it was taught to take a step to that's when you need to start moving. And John pointed out that not all times should you start moving when you present your gun, and not all times should you stop. And in training, if you don't realize that that's a placeholder, that you're taking that one step because you're on a line of 50, that whenever you get into training in your own little setting, that one stop needs to be continued, which I tried to do even before the class. That step is the first step. It's a thing. It'll be described more later. One thing that was different in his class was we didn't have some fancy target. We had 2 pie plates, one for here-ish, one for here-ish. And a big thing with him was you need to shoot the way that you need to shoot in this class to keep it inside that. Shoot that clean. If it's 7 rounds and you need to shoot a pie plate, shoot it as fast or as slow as you need to. And in your own time, get faster with it, but while shooting it clean. So it's not these little precise, which there's a time and place for that. But in the class, it's just, he didn't want to spend time making you a bullseye shooter. He wanted to spend time getting you more efficient and shooting well enough. Which almost sounds bad, shooting good enough. You can never be good enough. It's always got to be. Shooting good enough to do what you need to do. You could take 10 minutes to get perfectly to where you shear the aorta, and this dude's fucking donezo in very short order. Or in 5 seconds, you could put 7 rounds in his heart. So, and obviously that's an extreme blown out example, but an example nonetheless. Why do I keep get that? Oh, So another good thing, just watching good instructors, and I've picked this up from some tactical response instructors, little bits in the pieces in there about actually teaching people, because in some of my hobbies I teach certain things, and if you're going to gun classes, people are going to ask you to teach them how to shoot. It's just going to happen. Or to come out and see what's wrong with their gun, when it's usually something in behind there. But some really slick, on the fly ways that he kept class moving the way he wanted to. Like, watching him teach, pretty impressive. So everybody's heard the it takes 21 feet to draw, pang. I've done that with a live person running, draw, shoot, pow, and see, did you beat him? Were you dead? This, that, the other. And he went a little bit, I wouldn't say deeper, a little bit more, changed it, and, well, what if this is the circumstance? And sometimes 21 feet, that's a pipe dream. And if you don't have this on right, you never even knew that you needed 21 feet. Another cool thing is, and this has been covered in other classes, I'm just not trying to detract from any other classes I've been to. I'm trying to judge this wholly by itself. Sometimes you just need to start poking holes in whatever you've got to poke holes in. Hey now. But he ran through a couple of the drills that he practices on his own time, which we practiced some. And once you start seeing flesh, start getting with it. If that's what it needs. There are some times where you need to draw as smooth and as quiet as you can. Press out. Silent as the grave. Send one out. Sometimes, and just put as many holes in their person as you can, efficiently and quickly. Index to index, that was a big thing for me. For some reason I'm an idiot, and I never spent a whole lot of time with my appendix draw. I just, that's pretty fucking sweet. So he went over a few things of this thing, because those things. He went over a few things of, like, index to index, getting here, this in the same spot every time, so when you punch out, it's always the same, it's always the same grip, versus trying to just randomly find where you need to go. Like, because sometimes I would get here, sometimes I would get here, sometimes I would get, all dicked up. But if I bang, bang, it's always the same. So, that thing. Quick side note. If you are ever, I can't think of a better, if you're ever playing with a blue gun or an inert gun, it's still a gun. Don't give yourself bad habits just because, oh, it's just a blue gun, so I can just, which I just did, but for purposes and reasons. Try to do it as similarly as you can. I could never shoot with two eyes open. Couldn't do it. Because if I do this, there's 7 targets and 3 of these things. Squint. One of one. That just, no one ever said that to me. It just, and I'm gonna have to, like, reach out to him. He had a really cool trick to showing someone a good grip, and I think it was more a good stance. I'll have to email him about that. Guys, this went way longer than I wanted to. John's a cool dude. If right now you can't pay for training, you can't afford training, his classes aren't available, go buy a hat or, oh, damn it. I've got his shirts and his hats. I should have had... Fail. Go buy a hat, go buy a sticker, go buy a shirt, whatever. Support John Lovell. Support him on Patreon. Class was solid. I'm much more efficient, and I got to see things from different... And that was another cool thing, quickly. So he knew that I trained attack response before, and he, at times, would, like, I know James wants you to do it this way, or this way. I want you to do it this way. At least do this a little bit to see if you... And we had good discussions about the benefits of both. I'm not a Jaeger fanboy. I strongly agree with a lot of things James Jaeger says. But I strongly agree with him because I've done my own thinking on it. It's not just because he says it that way, so I do. Whatever. But John was really cool about, hey, I know he wants you to do it this way. Just try to do it this way for a little while and see what you think. I mean, he's a very accommodating dude. And he likes dad jokes, which I can't stress how much I enjoy me a good dad joke. Man, I really wanted this to be like a 3 or 4 minute video. It's probably like 12. Today, support TRB EDC, tap, rack, bang. Like, it's a life motto kind of thing, and a gun. Tap, rack, bang. He makes my beard oils. Some cool shirts. I don't know if he's got hats, stickers, all those things. Savage Natasha Nova. Cool hats, shirts, stickers. She's on they're all on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know about YouTube. Yeah. Be prepared to thrive when others survive.